All right, so welcome back to Can You Believe That Really Happened? So, the first story I'm going to do is actually involving a woman. And the reason why I wanted to do a story involving a woman in the Bible is because of a lot of times the women in the story are under talked about, under discussed, overlooked, and even in many accounts, their stories have been completely taken out. So I thought it was important for me as a woman to talk about a woman in the Bible. Now, we're not only going to talk about women in the Bible, obviously, but I did want to start off with a woman in the Bible. Another thing, I wanted to do a mother and son. So, like I said, it's not only about women, but Langston Hughes wrote a poem, Mother to Son, and I think that's part of my inspiration for picking this particular story. So, who are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about Hannah and her son, Samuel. So, let's get into that backstory of Can You Believe That Really Happened? Hannah and Samuel edition. Let's get it. So, there once was a rich man. You know, all good stories start with it. There once was a, but there once was a rich man. He was a good man named Elkanah, and Elkanah had two wives, Peninnah and Hannah. Now, the first wife, Peninnah, she was able to have children, and Hannah, the one he loved the most, could not. But Peninnah was a straight up hater. She was messy. She was always just like being like too much. And the reason why probably is because she knew deep in her heart that Elkanah really loved Hannah more. So what she want to do? Stir the pot. So since the one he loved the most, Hannah, could not have children at the time, she was barren. Peninnah was throwing that up in her face every time she could. So one day they went up to make an offering to the Most High. Um, and Peninnah was jabbing at Hannah as usual, being extra. Let's just say that. Let's say it like that, like what we would today, because we're gonna tell this story in today's form. She was a bit extra. But to the point where Hannah couldn't take it anymore. Like she was like, you know what, enough is enough. And she was pretty much like tired of Peninnah poking, making jabs at the fact that she couldn't have kids. And Hannah was just like devastated. So when they got back home, it was like dinner time or whatever. And Hannah's like, I can't even eat. Like I'm in so much pain because this lady is just constantly nagging at me. But not only that, because I really do want a child. And I can't have a child. And so she was just to the point of brokenness. Now, Elkanah, I told you already, he was a pretty good dude. He's like, he knows that Hannah has had this struggle, but he's like being the husband that he is. He's like giving her double portions of everything more than what Peninnah has, and he's like pretty much like trying to compensate with his extra love. And he's like, haven't I shown you how much I loved you? Like, babe, you are my one, you're my queen, you're my everything. He's like singing like, I'll give you each day. I'm not gonna finish this song. But he would give her everything if he could, right? And he would give her the world. But the thing is, Hannah's like, I love you, but this one thing I want right now, you can't give me, and this isn't helping. And I love you, but I need some space. I need to just take some time, clear my mind, get myself together. So she goes on and she departs from the table and she decides to go over into the temple. So she goes over to the temple so she can have some alone time with the Most High so she can pray. So Hannah's in the temple. She's praying, but again, remember, she's devastated. She's broken. So she's like ugly crying. She's like, she can't formulate her words right, but she thinks she's alone. And what is happening in the background is there's this priest named Eli, and he's seeing her, but doesn't know what's going on. She's praying and she's asking the Most High. She's like, listen, if you give me a son, I will dedicate him back to you. I just need this pain taken away from me and everything. But Eli sees she's not praying out loud. She's making faces and gestures, and her mouth is moving, but words aren't coming out. And he thinks she's drunk. So he comes around the corner and he like, ma'am, um, I don't know what's going on, but you can't be up in here drinking and whatnot. You drunk, you need to get your life together. So she stops crying, like, sir, I'm not drunk. I'm in pain, and I just needed to commune with the Most High. So Eli, the priest, is like, I apologize. You know what? I assumed, I shouldn't have assumed that you was, drunk. My apologies, sister. Um, and they go on communing. So the cool thing about their conversation is nowhere in the Bible did it say that Eli dug into her personal business and was like, tell me the story, what's going on with you, give me the tea, nothing like that. He just knew that this lady at that point was in deep pain, and he pretty much said, you know what, whatever you're going through right now, you know what, just trust the Most High. He heard your petition, he heard your prayer, and he'll take care of it. Just trust him and just have faith, and he got you. And she heard that, and she received that, and she said, you know what, I'm gonna do that. Thank you. And she went her way. She went back home. So it wasn't a nosy type conversation. She went back home and she had full of faith. Her whole countenance changed. She puckered up. She stopped crying. Went to see her husband. They did what married people do, and she conceived. She believed. She had faith. And when she conceives the son, the very thing she prayed for. And she knew that she had to honor her prayer. So she was happy to conceive this son, and she said that this baby, when he is weaned, I'm going to take him back and dedicate him to the Most High, to be a servant for the Most High, because the Most High has opened up my womb, and I am just pleased and I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I'm full of gratitude and love. And so that is exactly what she did. She kept her word. And the thing is, rappers say word is bond. No, really, word was bond back in those days. If they said it, it was established. So Most High made a covenant with her. She made a covenant back, and she did her part. The Most High did his part, and there was all faith that was in between. And so that was the beautifulness of that story. Now the thing is, Hannah went on to have 5 more children, 3 more sons, and 2 more daughters. And she pretty much blew Panina, the hater, out the water. Oh, panini bread looking self. She was sitting up there hating and teasing this woman. And now, not only was the lady Hannah more beloved, now she had 6 kids. So now, what did Panina have? She was looking dumb at the end of the day, being a hater. So what does that tell you? More of the story. Mind your business. Do what you're supposed to do. Leave people alone and stop being an agitator. That's the moral of that story. Now, coming back to the second part of this story, we're going to talk about Samuel. So I'm going to take a little break, and we're going to talk about what happened with little Samuel as a little boy. Coming in a minute.